Hello, everyone. Okay, back to the story. I wanted to tell you guys when I was going through the anxiety and everything. Before I forgot to tell you that the pastor friend that I had, she took me out to lunch one time, and she said, "No, I'm mistaken." She prophesied it over me at a church because when she took me out to lunch, she told me something different. I'll tell you guys that later. But when she prophesied it over me, she said, "You're about to give birth to a Trinity." And I was like, okay, I'm thinking something spiritual, whatever the case may be. When that doctor told me that it was 3 boys in my stomach, the Holy Spirit brought that back to my memory. I was like, oh my God, that is what she was saying to me. And that's another highlight of I knew everything was going to be all right. I knew I was going to give birth to those boys. So now, like I told you guys, I was working and everything, so I'm just doing my normal things. And I told you I was a leasing consultant, so I show apartments. I'm walking up and down stairs and all that kind of stuff. So when I was about 6 months, my cervix lining was so thin. I had to go to, because of the pregnancy, I had to go to different specialists like every 2 weeks, and I went to the specialist. Like I said, I was about 6 months, and they were like, hey, listen, your lining is too thin. You have to start working. We are going to have to put you on bed rest for the rest of your pregnancy. I was like, what? And they were like, we can't risk it. You can't be standing up, walking up and down stairs as thin as your lining is, because it has to hold up those babies. So it was different type of options. If I didn't, what would happen and what would be the outcome? So I just was like, oh my God. Because I'm thinking a 9 term, but you guys, when you are pregnant with multiples, you usually don't carry full term. But in my case, I had 3, not just twins, and so they for sure knew I wasn't gonna carry to full term. But I had to carry them at least 27 weeks. So I had to be able to hold them in for 27 weeks. So remember that. So I was like, okay. So I had my babies in St. Luke. And it was a whole maternity suite. Listen, those people treated me like a celebrity, but to be laid down 24/7, you get up and take a shower, whatever, but for 4 months or whatever. So that's what I thought, but I literally was in there for a little over a month because I did have my baby's early term. But in there, you guys, my stomach was so big. Now I looked like I was 9 months but 3 babies, but I was only 6 months, 7 months. So I wasn't hungry, I couldn't eat or anything. So it was just so much that went on. I bottomed out a couple of times. I went through so much trying to just carry those babies in me laying down or whatever. My husband was coming up there. I was crying. I was like, man, this is miserable or whatever. But I just kept singing and praising God in there. And I was just alone so much. So I was reading my Bible. So I got real close to God because, listen, that was a scary situation. But now let's get into when it's time to get them out. So talk to you guys tomorrow. You have a blessed day.